Hi there guys and girls, and welcome to another video. Now this video is about, obviously I'm sure you guys have figured it out, what's going on with E3 and Ed Boon. So I haven't put up a video about, this has been going on for like a week or two now, about Ed's behaviour on Twitter, but he's put up these really cryptic tweets that always have some sort of number in them, some sort of countdown, right? So I think it started at like 20 something, it's like this was my favourite counting clip or something, and it was like 11 or something like that. There were all these like things that had a number, and people would speculate about the number. What does the number mean, and this and that, and it's just gone on and on and on. And we're getting close now. We're like, 5 days away from an announcement, which is going to be on Monday, which will be Tuesday my time. Unfortunately, I'll be busy on Tuesday, so I'm hoping I can do something before I have to go where I have to go, if I get it in time in the morning. So I might be able to chuck something up about it, but if not, it'll be late. Anyway, so yeah, the other thing you're probably wondering is I'm not even wearing my TMK shirt for this video, and that's because the TMK shirt is now redundant because Ed's changed the logo again. So, as you know, when Mortal Kombat 9 was coming out, I don't know if you can see, got some Mortal Kombat coasters here, thanks to Brian, the Dutch MK collector, sent me those. The Mortal Kombat 9 dragon was changed. And today on Twitter, all this stuff has popped up. Who's next? And there's a new Mortal Kombat dragon, and that's on Ed's Twitter page, and it's on a lot of the fan sites have been given these branding images, this Who's Next banner and this dragon image. So I might have to update my shirt soon, because I thought about updating it for MK9, but because of all the trouble I had, I didn't even bother, But I wonder if they're going to keep changing the dragon every time an MK game comes out. Because, it's been like 4 years, right, since the last MK game was shown at E3. Which is, it's hard to believe. I know, I've said this recently, that it was almost as long a wait between MK4 and Deadly Alliance. That was 5 years, and that was torture. Because after MK4 came out, and I loved MK4, don't get me wrong, but I thought that was the last Mortal Kombat game. Because there was this big, the arcades had stopped, and then they kept teasing MK5 is going to have a female Scorpion, and they teased all this stuff, and it just seemed to go on and on, with big amounts of time and no news. So it was like, I thought that was going to be the last Mortal Kombat. And Mortal Kombat 4 was fun, but I loved 1, 2, 3 more, so I did want more, But it was about 5 years before then they announced that they weren't doing arcades anymore and they were going into the home market. So, yeah, that was the last time we had to wait, a huge amount of time between Mortal Kombat games. And considering this day and age, it's almost unheard of. But the problem with NetherRealm is now that they have 2 fighting games. They have Injustice that does well, and they have Mortal Kombat that does well. For me, even though I've got the poster there, I know I'm going to sound like a hypocrite. Injustice was fun. It was fun to play, but it just wasn't me. It wasn't like... Growing up, playing the NES, the Super Nintendo, the Mega Drive, I never played those superhero games. I never gave a shit about them. The closest thing I played was RoboCop versus Terminator or the Ninja Turtles. I like those ones more. I never played Spider-Man games. I didn't even play Mega Man and Metroid, to be honest, which I know are huge Nintendo games. I was very picky with games. I never played Batman games, even though I liked the Batman movies and the TV show. If I was going to play a game, I would have played the Batman games, but I never did. So Injustice was fun, and I really did like playing Injustice, and there were some really cool things in Injustice, but it felt, and this is going to be really harsh, guys, it felt soulless for me. It really did. And when I say that, I'm talking about playing the arcade mode. The story mode was really good. That felt definitely soulful. It had a great story there, when that even continued on in Tom Taylor's comic book series. The story was fantastic. But when I was in the matches, I don't know how to explain this properly, guys. For me, when I was in the arcade mode matches, they felt dull. announcer, and I like the announcer being female, but the announcer voice was so like monotone. Batman wins.
Begin. Batman. Green Lantern.
The Flash wins. It just felt like, I don't know, it just felt like it was trying to be dark and brooding and monotone and like the Nolan movies and like the Nolan Batman movies, and I don't know, and it had a real grey sort of tone, like even, you know, all the trailers start with all the rubble, you know, it was all like black and grey and white and dark, and whereas when you go back and watch the story mode, it's real colourful, you know, and the story mode's good like that. It starts off real colourful and gets sort of dark. It has a progression.
Woman, Aquaman, let's wrap this up. I've got to get to the watchtower.
Before Luthor throws something else at us.
Doomsday.
Should have been a combined assault.
Clark sometimes forgets he can't do everything himself.
But like when you're playing those arcade mode levels, it just felt, I don't know, it felt almost boring. Like, and I like doing the moves and doing all the combos and all that was fun, but like for me it has to be the whole package. The music had to be good and the music was like good, but it was like, how do I explain this? Like I did like the music, don't get me wrong, but it had this, I guess it was more superhero theme-ish, you know, it was sort of like, you know, I'd heard it before. Like the Mortal Kombat music for me is really cool. It's really unique, it's dynamic, it has range. Like, think about the Living Forest, the music. I can't do the music, but you know what I mean. Like, you know what I'm doing, right? It has like peaks where it sounds sort of, the music goes up high and down low, and it has like this range of up and low. It's not just like low, like I mean that's the Injustice theme. The theme was pretty good, but like a lot of the levels were just, for me. Whereas the Mortal Kombat music like felt very, very cool, and all the reimagined music was really cool too. So I know I'm way off track here, but this is how I work with YouTube. So that's my feelings on Injustice, and a lot of people love Injustice. They love that game, and there are a lot of things I really did like in Injustice. Like I like being the interactive environments, and I would like to see that come across to Mortal Kombat, and I'm sure that will. The next Mortal Kombat, you'll be able to grab things out of the background and bring them into the foreground. And I've been told though, because I recently went to the BAM 6 tournament, a lot of tournament players don't like that shit. Apparently they don't like the interactive objects. I was told anyway in Melbourne here by some players. I'm told they weren't fans of that. They thought it was cheap doing that. And just give me a moment guys, 1 second. Alright, I'm back. Just to let you know what's happened is the reason I just jumped out of the video then. My heater just turned on because it's getting cold now in Australia. Our winter is when your summer is. It's backwards. So yeah, I've got the heater on heating the house, and it wasn't on, and it just suddenly turned on, and the heater is above that light. And that light I had to build barn doors around because I'm using LED lights now. They don't come with barn doors. And the cardboard flap started doing this, and that's that movement you're seeing. So I've turned it off. It's going to turn off in a minute. That's There, that's what that is, just so you know. That's why. Something always happens when I do a video. Train comes, the heater turns on. I can't win. I can never get a perfect video out. Never. Anyway, so that's my feelings on Injustice and and the interactive objects. Good there, guys. So, yeah. So, for me, I just want Mortal Kombat. That's all I want. And I really tried to get into Injustice. I bought Injustice on PS3, Xbox. I even got the Wii U version real cheap when it came down. And I don't even have Scorpion. I don't have any of the DLC. I was going to get Scorpion on the Wii U version, and then they removed all the DLC. And I kept tweeting to Warner Brothers, what'd you do with the DLC? And they refused to answer me, which is really dodgy. You go out and buy the game, and then, because the DLC was there, before I had the game, I turned on my Wii U, and it's like, Injustice DLC now available. And I looked at it. I fucking looked at it on my screen, on my TV, on my gamepad, and I saw, Scorpion. I saw all the characters. Batgirl, Lobo, I saw them all. Skin Pack 1 or whatever. Red Sun missions. Everything was there. And then I go out and buy the game. I come home. DLC. I was going to grab Scorpion. And there's nothing for this item. There's no DLC. Blah, blah, blah. So I tweet to Warner Brothers, what'd you do with the DLC? No reply. I tweeted them 4 or 5 times, same thing, so. And I know I'm a hypocrite. I'm wearing a shirt that says I fucking love Coke and I'm drinking Pepsi. I don't have any Coke, alright? So, yeah, so I bought all the Injustice, and I did try and play it, and I did get quite good with Aquaman at one stage. I was, like, mastering Aquaman. I liked Aquaman a lot, and it was fun to play, but I don't know, it just wasn't me. Do you know what I'm saying? You can play something and it can be great, but if your passion's not in it, it's not 100% for you. Like, I'd win the match and just be like, it just felt like there was no point. And I think, when I think about it, in Injustice, you're not fighting to beat you are. You're fighting up the ladder, but it doesn't feel like you are. It feels like each match is just its own match, and you're not progressing. It just feels like it's the same over and over again. And now you're fighting a new guy. It doesn't feel like you're getting higher and higher up a ladder, and you're fighting, a 4-arm boss or a big bad boss at the end. It just feels like you're just fighting the Injustice roster, and yeah. So that's how I thought about Injustice. So anyway, going back to Mortal Kombat and Ed. And everything that's going on now. There's a new logo, and I'm going to talk about that. Let me just bring it up. So I've got my laptop here. Right. So, the new logo, and you'll see it on the screen. Right. So, new logo, I got a love-hate with it. Generally, it looks good, but there's one part of it I don't like, and that's the eye, and just above the eye. The eye now sort of like, I don't know, it's pointing, just points straight and looks, I don't know, the other eye, I like the other eye better. And the head, it feels like it's slanting down now, whereas the head used to sort of go like that and then down. That part just feels weird, but that's the part I don't like about the new logo. But the part I do like about the new logo is the fang, the dragon fang. Like, I like that there's like a fang tooth, whatever you want to call it. I like that you can see the tooth now in the mouth. That looks really fucking cool. And if we compare it to the old logo, because I got the old logo here, right? So we can talk about that. The main differences of this is that if we look at the spikes on the back, there's one less spike. So there used to be 4 spikes on the back, and then there used to be the 2 head sort of big spikes, and then sort of the horn, then the eye. And the rest is pretty much the same. It's pretty much the same dragon. The shape is just a little bit different. It's not as flowy now. The old Mortal Kombat dragon sort of up the back went like this. Like all in one sort of perfect curve like that. Whereas now it's like it curves in and then stops and comes out and then goes around and comes out with that hook and then goes up. It's not one big perfect curve like that with the hook sticking out. It's the flow of it's different. When you look at the old, and let me just grab one of these. Let me borrow one of these because I don't have the other logo. The MK9 logo though is exactly the same as the old logo, but it was reskinned. So it had the same flow, it had the same amount of horns in the exact same spots. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. The eye was the same. Everything was the same. The tongue coming out. The fang looked more prominent. The fangs on it looked a lot more cool. And they just put a texture on top where it's like, you know, it looks sort of metal, I guess, like a metal dragon. Whereas the old one was obviously just black. It was just an outline. So this new logo is a new logo. It's actually changed because the MK9 logo was, like I said, it was reskinned, but it was the same outlining shape, whereas the new logo is a different outlining shape. So yeah, they're the logo differences. Now the other thing is the slogan is now "Who's next?" and from the banner, the "Who's next," we see that's probably going to be the Mortal Kombat X10 font. That's probably going to be the font that they use for the game. Then we've got wacky tweets from Ed I've got here. So here's, just as I was mentioning before, some of the tweets from Ed. I've just picked a few from the last week or so. And the first one we've got is from Ed is, and I'll put these up again. I don't suppose there's anything I can do to make you think there still might be announcing Injustice 2 in 5 days, is there? What is the square root of 324? The answer to that's 18. Some people were speculating that that was the amount of characters that were going to be in the next MK. Someone said, did I miss the Noobdy, which is Ed Boon, countdown today? I've lost track of what number we are at, and Ed Boon said something exceptional, and he highlighted the S, I, and X, meaning 6 days left. I'm pretty sure my favourite thing at E3 is going to be whatever the hell Noobdy is up to. Ed Boon, who said we're up to anything, as in a 2. Now, the reason I picked those 4 tweets is this. A lot of people think that there will be, or there might not be, an Injustice 2. For me, the things I think that could be announced at E3 are this. Mortal Kombat 10, for me, definitely being announced. But I have a feeling that they're going to be doing a multi-announcement. So it's going to be Mortal Kombat 10, possibly Injustice 2. I'm not sure if they're going to be coming out at the same time or if someone else is going to be doing it, Injustice 2. If they're getting some other Warner Brothers studio to work on Injustice 2. I'm sure NRS would definitely be Mortal Kombat first and everything else would be second to that studio. And the other thing is a possibility is either a Mortal Kombat HD version or a Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks 2. For me, those 4 things are possible. Now, the reason I say Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks 2 is because he's been saying things like, who said we were up to anything? And 2 could mean Injustice 2, or it could mean something 2. It could even just mean Mortal Kombat 2, as in the last Mortal Kombat was called Mortal Kombat, and they could be calling this new one Mortal Kombat 2. That could mean Injustice 2. It could mean Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks 2. So that's the reason why I'm picking those 3 as 2 games. And Shaolin Monks, a lot of people talk about Shaolin Monks. Even when I did my review, I was surprised how many people watched that thing. You know, and that just goes to show the power that game has. And that tease that Ed Boon did last year where he had the Shaolin Monks guidebook on his desk and said, you know, I forgot what he said, something about this would be good in HD, or it was something like that, you know. And they were gonna do a 2 and never did, and people liked Shaolin Monks, and they could totally bring that back on next gen. So again, like I've mentioned in my last video, I was a bit disappointed the lackluster response of when Injustice was coming out. It was Mortal Kombat's anniversary, and they just did the video, the history video, and that was it. for me, I think that they've got something big planned this year, and I think they'll be mentioning that you know, last year or the year before was Mortal Kombat's anniversary, and so we're going to celebrate by having 2 things or 3 things, or maybe I'm just totally wrong and it's just going to be 1 thing. Do you know what I mean? Maybe Mortal Kombat X is going to have a conquest mode called Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks 2 built into it. These are all the things that have been rolling around in my head, you know, and with these tweets you really do have to read between the lines. Sometimes there's things in there, but they could mean several things. But one thing's for sure is that Mortal Kombat is going to be at E3. There's going to be an announcement, Mortal Kombat. We already know this because Kiefer Sutherland said he did work on Mortal Kombat, but we don't know what he did. Was it Mortal Kombat 10? Was it Shaolin Monks 2? Was it something else? Was it just a trailer voiceover? Was it just, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? So E3 for me could hold those announcements, those ones I mentioned, but most likely I think they're just going to say Mortal Kombat X, and I'm thinking an Injustice 2. I think that's what they're going to say. That's when I look at it, because Injustice 2 did real well, Mortal Kombat did real well, and maybe they're not going to come out at the same time. Maybe Mortal Kombat will come out first, and they'll say that they're also working on Injustice, and maybe that's going to be their E3 announcement, that they're working on Injustice at the same time, and Injustice will come out a bit later after Mortal Kombat, you know. But just from a business perspective, Warner Brothers, yes, they could release 1 game and do the DLC and milk it for all it's worth and get every dollar out of it, or they could have 2 things pretty much running at the same time, doing the same thing, getting more money at the same amount of time. Do you understand? So you got Mortal Kombat comes out April and Injustice comes out November or something, right? And while Mortal Kombat, you're going to get the initial sales through the roof, then, you know, come about, you know, April, May, it's going to die down. But then they're going to have all the DLC characters, which they can do pretty quick. And then once the DLC starts dying off, then Injustice is going to come out, and everyone's going to buy Injustice. And then when that starts dying off, then they're going to have all the DLC. Do you see what I mean? So they're going to have sort of a thing all year long as a business plan. The money's just going to be rolling into Warner Brothers or NetherRealm or whatever, however you want to look at it. That's the way I'm looking at it, and that's what I think they're doing. Yeah. So I guess that's all I got to say, and I just wanted to do this video, nothing fancy, just on the couch, and talk about it, because, you know, the countdown thing's been going on for a while, and I'm like, oh, should I do a video about the countdown? And I'm like, it felt sort of silly to do a video. Everyone's counting down or something. I know some people did that, you know, but when I do a video for my channel, I want it to be a good video, you know. I've done some videos in the past that I think are pretty crappy. When I do videos now, I pick them, you know, I want to do good videos and that. So yeah, I was able to talk a bit about Injustice and how I felt about Injustice in this video, and Mortal Kombat, and what I think they're doing at E3. And what do you think's going to happen? And what do you think about my comments? Do you think I'm totally wrong? Yeah, put them in the comments. I read every comment, by the way. I do. I read them all. I don't reply to everyone, because sometimes some comments I'm just like, yeah, cool. You know, unless something is thought-provoking for me, I'll reply. But I read everything, you know, so yeah. A lot of people have asked, am I going to E3 also this year? I am not going to E3, no. 2 reasons: I can't afford it, and Warner Brothers still don't like me, so I can't really rock up at their booth, can I? You know? Yeah, so there's nothing I can do about that, but I will be watching online to see what people say about the announcement, the E3 announcements, and there's going to be this announcement this Monday, your time, which is what? If we go there, let me get the date here. The 2nd of June is going to be the announcement, but I'll get it a day later because we're ahead in time, so I'll get it Tuesday the 3rd. I'm hoping, like I said, that I can put something up before I have to skedaddle on that day. Otherwise, I'll have to put something up later about it. But I definitely will be putting something up considering the weight of the announcement. But I'm really curious to see exactly what MK10 is going to hold. Is it going to be an MK4 continuation sort of thing? I mean, we had the whole Quan Chi and Shinnok at the end. For me, that felt MK4-ish. Maybe this one's going to be like more like MK4 and Deadly Alliance sort of condensed into one. Like this Mortal Kombat was sort of, Mortal Kombat 9 was like Mortal Kombat 1, 2, 3, right? This one might be like Mortal Kombat 4 and Deadly Alliance. For me, that'd be really cool. And then maybe they could then actually give us the proper chase of Scorpion chasing Quan Chi through the Netherrealm, because we never got that properly, and that sucks. I've always wanted to see that properly. Quan Chi's running and looking back, you know, you see it in the Edema film clip, and he's looking back, and then Scorpion's got all these bandits come out of nowhere and attack Quan Chi, then he throws the harpoon, and it was all like split up, and I would have loved to have seen that in its entirety. So maybe that's going to be in this Mortal Kombat, you know, who knows. But I am excited, and I will be putting up videos and content. Anything I get, I will be sticking up on this channel. And because I'm not bound with Warner Brothers anymore, if I get leaked stuff, I'll be putting it straight up on this channel. But honestly, the odds of me getting leaked stuff are very low. It's a lot of people think, you know, I'm very connected, and I do have a lot of connections. I do hear a lot of things, but I also don't like to leak certain things, depending on what it is that I find out about. You know, sometimes it's just like little bits of info here and there. If it was a character or something, I probably wouldn't leak it. So I don't know. Depending on what the content is, if something comes across my path that someone doesn't have, and you know, if it's something really good and doesn't give away secrets and stuff, yeah. Because for me, like I hate it when people give away secrets. Like in the last Mortal Kombat, when everyone found out the babalities were in it and brutality sound effects were in the demo, everyone's like, babalities and brutalities are in it. I could have done that. I could have said that too, because I found all that audio as well in the demo. But I didn't tell anyone. You can look, you can check, you can go through my Twitter and Facebook. I never said to a soul that there's babalities in Mortal Kombat, because I want people to be surprised. But in hindsight, maybe I should have just jumped on the bandwagon anyway, because everyone else told everyone else anyway. But I didn't want to be like that. I like the secrets in Mortal Kombat. It would have been cool for people to discover them without finding out that they were in the game before anyone even knew about them. You know, people knew about them before the game was even out. That's shit, you know. I don't like that sort of stuff. But if I get a video that just shows, you know, Scorpion gameplay that no one has or something, I'd probably put that up. You know, but then again, Warner Brothers will probably take it down. So who knows what I can do, you know. But any trailers and things I do come across, or cool pictures or any assets, I'll stick up on my channel anyway. So thanks guys, thanks for watching. I know this has just been a talking video, but I do want to be getting back to reviews soon. I do now have, was around here somewhere. Oh, here it is. A antenna lead. Now, a lot of you are going to think this is funny. I'm sure I had one of these leads somewhere. This is a standard, they call it a fly lead in Australia. I'm sure it's the same antenna as in America. You know, I needed this to do some of my old retro reviews, believe it or not, because I want to use the old TV in the video, as part of the video, because it gives it that retro feel. It's not because I'm wanting to play it on that. It just gives it that look. I can play it on my Bravia if I want. But I couldn't find the lead, and I needed it because the Mega Drive now has the video out, and that goes in the VCR, and the VCR plugs into the TV via an antenna lead because the TV's old. It doesn't have the red, white, and yellow connections. So I needed this lead, and I was turning the house upside down looking for it, and I couldn't find the damn thing. And you know, I don't have a lot of money right now, and every time I'd see one of these it'd be like $10, and I just needed to go past a cheap store that sells them for like $3. So I finally got one. So I'm looking at revisiting some of the old TMK reviews and fixing them up, because that's where it all started. The Mega Drive 1 Genesis for me review, that was the first one I talked about. I was excited to talk about that because I really like that version of Mortal Kombat. You know, even the first ever TMK review was like Mortal Kombat, excuse me, Armageddon on the Wii, and I was like all tense and stiff and like, welcome to my first video review. And it just, when I watch that video back, I'm like, it's just awful, because like, it's just unnatural. And for me, I think the key to it now is, just being natural. Even if the cardboard thing shakes, I just say it in the video. A lot of people are like, you shouldn't do that, or you should cut that out, I want my videos to feel natural, real, So if you see something shaking in the video, I'll point out why, I could just not say it or cut it out, but there's no big deal, just try not to dwell on those little errors. But yeah, so I'm hoping to revisit the old stuff soon and fix it up, because those old reviews are terrible. they're dark. They're 320 by 240 res. They're horrible quality. The framing's bad. The lighting's bad. There's some, because they had the 3-minute limits. Sometimes I would forget to push the button again before 3 minutes was up, and words would be cut off, and it'd be jump cutting, and yeah, but no one else was doing it, and I got a lot of people watching, so that was, it still amazes me that, those videos, you look at them, they're bad in terms of video, but people liked what I was doing. People supported that I was reviewing all the Mortal Kombat games, which is cool. So yeah, thanks again, guys, and enough jibber jammering, and I will see you guys this Tuesday for this announcement. I wonder what it's going to be. Have to wait and find out. See you later.